In this section, we're going to be going over the element selection tool. To get to that tool, if I'm in my drawing workflow, I can come to my home ribbon, and under my selection group, it's this first tool called element selection. I can left click and select it. It's going to bring up my element selection tool. Another way to get to your element selection tool is just selecting the F4 key on your keyboard. And basically what that tool does is if you have any tool selected or any items selected, it just selects that tool and those items you have selected and goes back to the element selection tool. So if I was out here placing a line, I'm just going to dynamically place it out there, and I hit F4, it's going to quit that tool and come back to my element selection tool. On your element selection tool, you have several different modes and methods of selecting items.
The methods are this top row here, and the modes are
this bottom row.
So the methods,
you have individual, block, shape, circle, and line.
In the modes, you have new selection.
You can add to a selection. You can subtract to a selection. You can invert the selection. And this last button here is actually two different buttons in one. If nothing is selected, you can select all. But if you have something selected, it's now a clear selection button. So I'm going to go ahead and select it again and clear my selection. So those are the different methods and modes, and we're going to go over each of these here in just a second. I'm going to zoom in a little bit to the roadway. So I'm going to pick my window area tool, come back down here, zoom into this area down here. Now I'm going to go back to my element selection tool. I'm just going to hit my F4 key, and I'm going to make sure I'm on the individual method and on the new mode. So now if I want to select an item, I just go out and left click on it, and that item is selected. You'll notice when you select an item, you have these little handles out here. You can use those to manipulate an item if you want to. There are better ways to manipulate elements, so I'm just going to disable these handles by coming back up to the element selection tool, and I'm going to select this icon up here that says disable handles. So now since my method is set to individual and my mode is still set to new, every time I go out and select something different, it's going to clear that last selection, select my new item. You can select multiple items this way if you need to. If I were to hold down my control key and select another item, as long as my control key is held down, I can keep selecting items. If those are the items I need selected, I can let go of my control key now. And if you notice down here in my selection set window, I have 5 elements selected. So now I can do whatever I need to do with these items. If I need to delete them, I can delete them. If I need to move them, I can move them. Or if I need to copy them, I can copy them. If I want to clear my selection while I'm in my new mode, all I have to do is go out here to a blank area on my screen and left click, and it will clear my selection set. Another way to select multiple items using the new mode, if I come out here and left click and hold my mouse button down, I can drag a block around what I want to select. So if I want to select multiple trees, I can just drag a block around them and let go, and those items will be selected. You notice when I drug my block, I drug it from the left to the right. When I create my block that way and let go, it will select everything that's 100% inside that block. If it just intersects that block like these roads did, it will not select them. If I clear my selection set, and when I left click to drag my block, but I go from the right to the left this time, you can see I'm overlapping some of those roads. If I let go of my mouse button, it's going to select everything inside that block and everything that intersects that block as well. So when you're creating that block out there, it does matter which way you drag it. I'm going to left click to clear my selection, I'm going to leave my method set to individual, but I'm going to change my mode to add. So what this does is if I go out and select an item, instead of holding my control key down, now I can just go out and select multiple items, and it will keep adding them to the selection set. So now if I have what I need selected, I can do whatever needs to be done with these items. If I come up here and switch my mode to subtract, it's going to keep everything I have selected still selected. But now if I come out here and select something that's already selected, it's going to subtract it from that selection set. So that's what the add and subtract do. You can add to a selection set or you can subtract from it. The next mode is invert, and what that one does, if you have a selected item and you go out and select it, it's going to deselect it. And if you have an unselected item out there and you select it, it will add it to the selection set. So that's what the invert does. It just switches whether it is selected or deselected. And then the last mode on here is clear and select all. If you have items selected, it's going to be clear. And then if I clear my selection set, it's going to switch that mode to select all. So now if I needed to select everything in my drawing, I could use the select all. I'm going to go ahead and clear my selection set. And I'm going to switch my mode back to new. Now we'll come up and show you the different methods. The method we've been using is individual. The next one on here is a block. So if I go out here and select block, now if I left click to start my block, drag it out, left click to end my block, it'll select everything inside that block. These next few methods work the same way depending on which way you drag it. Of course, if you drag it left to right, it's going to select everything totally inside that block. And if you go right to left, it'll select everything inside the block and everything that intersects that block. I'm going to go ahead and clear my selection. I'm going to switch from block to shape. So when you're selecting a shape, you just left click to start your shape and left click to keep adding vertexes. When you get back to the beginning of your shape, you can see it kind of close. If that's what you want, you just left click to finish it, and it'll select everything inside that shape. Same thing with the circle. If I clear my selection set, left click to start the circle, drag your circle out however big you want, left click to end it, and you have your item selected. I'm going to clear my selection again. And the last method we have on here is line. So you just left click to start your line, left click to end your line, and everything that line intersects, it's going to be selected. I'm going to go ahead and clear my selection. If I come back up to the element selection tool, you do have this little show extended settings button. I'm going to go ahead and select it, and it'll expand your element selection tool. And down here you have several different ways you can also select items. You can select items based on their level, color, style, and weight. You probably won't ever use element type, element class, element template, and material. So if you knew the color of an item you wanted to select, I could go to the color tab. Select a color. I think the trees are color number 4, so I'm going to select 4, and it's going to select everything that is the color 4 in your drawing. I could do the same for line styles or any of the other attributes down here as well. It's just one more way to select items. I'm going to go ahead and hide my extended settings and clear my selection set, and that's the element selection tool.